Well, Ian Smith talks about the wicket-keeper being the drummer in the band, and Rodney Marsh was certainly that.
Relentlessly tough.
He was a very combative cricketer.
He was just a fighter as well, and typical Australian wicket-keeping mould.
The epitome of a certain kind of Australian.
And that's out, caught behind. John Snow on his way without waiting for the umpire's decision, so Dennis Lilly breaking through, breaking a little stubborn partnership there, and a catch down the leg side by Marsh.
The combination of Marsh and Lilly is obviously a famous one and a breaker of many records. He said later in his career that essentially he could read Lilly's bowling better than anyone.
My greatest memories of Rod Marsh are diving with his heels flicked up to his backside, taking one-hand catches off Dennis Lilly.
Whenever there's a catch behind, you know that Marsh was always going to take it.
He always struck a very intimidating figure behind the stumps.
Very nuggety wicket-keeper.
The one thing I admired most about Rod Marsh is the way he played the game. At the end of the game, he'd be the first to put his hand out and say well done to the opposition if they got the better of him.
An inspiration that Australian cricketers looked upon and relied upon, especially when times were tough.
A kind of binding glue that held, that Australian side together.
And that's a brilliant catch, a beautiful catch by Marsh, taking it almost out of Ian Chappell's hands. I doubt very much whether Ian Chappell will be very pleased about it, but relieved that Marshy managed to stick hold of it.
He wasn't always flash. He had a big moustache, which he would probably mumble a few words behind the stumps, but my word, he was a wonderful wicket-keeper, and those combinations with those bowlers mentioned were some of Australia's great combinations.
Somebody you couldn't help admiring and kind of wishing was on your team at the same time.
His performances over the years have been admired by not just his teammates, but by everyone around him.
Going for the sweep, and he's given out, caught by Rodney Marsh. Very good catch by Rodney Marsh on the leg side.
He's played a big part in Australian cricket with selection and still being involved around the traps, but his performances and his work behind the stumps during that great era was something that us Kiwis didn't always like, but we certainly admired.